Heartwarming, one millionaire revealed his hidden kindness after an 8-year-old's touching plea, in the quaint town of Maplewood, where the leaves were painted in shades of amber and crimson. An extraordinary story was about to unfold. It all began in Mrs. Thompson's third-grade classroom, where the air was thick with the smell of crayons and climbing enthusiasm. Charlie, an unassuming but spirited 8-year-old, sat at his desk with fire in his heart. His mother, Sarah, a single mother juggling 2 demanding jobs, was his hero. He wanted to make her proud. Today, the school principal's voice boomed, announcing a new initiative to support underprivileged students in the community. Charlie's eyes lit up. It was a mission he felt deeply, inspired by the kindness always shining from his mother. He charged home that day, words tumbling from his lips like candy from a piñata. He penned a heartfelt letter to the town's reclusive millionaire, Mr. Thompson. His letter was filled with eagerness and empathy, asking the wealthy neighbor to help ensure every child could join in the fun. He believed, wholeheartedly, that kindness could bind the community together. As news of Charlie's letter spread through Maplewood, reactions stirred like fallen leaves in the wind. Some residents rolled their eyes, viewing Mr. Thompson as a symbol of affluence that tallied the divide between wealthy and struggling. "He wouldn't take care," they muttered. Others, however, praised Charlie's effort. They wished for miracles against the backdrop of their own daily hardships. Charlie shielded his heart from the negativity. He refused to believe that goodness couldn't shine through. Tension intensified, leading to a stormy town hall meeting. Old grievances were aired, and Mr. Thompson stood at the edge of his seat, brow knitted with disdain. The words thrown his way were sharp, each one fueled by resentment and judgment. Then, in an unexpected turn of fate, Charlie was called upon. With a deep breath, he approached the podium, small but mighty. "I see my friends struggle every day," he began, his voice quivering but strong. "They just want to play like everyone else." The room fell silent, eyes glued to the innocent boy grasping the microphone. Charlie painted a picture of laughter echoing in the playground, highlighting the joy lost when some kids missed out. In the silence, hope hovered, palpable and heavy like mist. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. The hushed room felt electric as Mr. Thompson's gaze shifted to Charlie, the weight of judgment pressing on his shoulders. With every heartbeat echoing, he collected the courage to speak, a lifetime spent hiding collapsing in that moment. Would he extend his hand to bridge the chasm, or shrink away into the shadows? Charlie's hopeful eyes locked onto Mr. Thompson's, fraught with anticipation, yearning for that spark of connection that could heal their community. The tension hung thick in the air, blending uncertainty with potential. In that moment, they were all caught. I wonder if the rift could be mended. Would compassion win over judgment, planting seeds of hope for a better, united Maplewood? Mr. Thompson's heart raced as he stood there, a cacophony of emotions swirling inside him. The tension in the room was almost suffocating. It pressed down on his chest, making it hard to breathe. He glanced around at the muted faces in the crowd, their expressions a mosaic of skepticism and hope, each one echoing the silent question, would he respond? Charlie's innocent plea pierced through the fog of hesitation. "They just want to play like everyone else." The boy's voice climbed over the noise inside him, igniting a flicker of resolve. As he looked at Charlie, so small yet so mighty, the millionaire felt a strange warmth blossom in his chest. Maybe it was the boy's unwavering faith in humanity, maybe it was the timeless truth that kindness could ignite change. Thompson cleared his throat, feeling the weight of the moment. "Kids deserve a chance," he finally uttered, his voice low but steady. The crowd leaned in, surprised and intrigued. "I have resources, and if Charlie believes we can do better, who am I to disagree?" Gasps rippled through the audience. Charlie's eyes widened in disbelief, hope flooding back into his heart. Mr. Thompson continued, his tone gaining strength. I can fund playground renovations, making it a place where every child can play, regardless of their background. A murmur of excitement broke through the crowd. Overhead lights shimmered off the eager faces of parents and children alike, illuminating a growing sense of trust. The facade of resentment began to crumble away, and new discussions sparked about meetings, budgets, and community support. Sarah, standing at the back, felt tears prick at her eyes as she watched her son's dream take shape. With every word Mr. Thompson spoke, bridges were being built, laughter replacing the silence that once filled the room. But all at once, he paused, and the crowd stilled, curiosity flaring up again. But he hesitated, and some concerned whispers began. But this shouldn't just be about me or my money. This is a community effort. I challenge all of you to come together to support this initiative. The words hung in the air like a promise, a call to arms for unity. Did he really mean it? Could this be the first step toward healing the rift that had divided Maplewood for years? Charlie's heart swelled as he saw people nod, their attitudes shifting from disbelief to enthusiasm. Just then, an elderly woman rose from her seat, trembling with emotion. I lost my husband last year, and we love this community. Thank you for this, Mr. Thompson. It's time we support each other. Her voice broke a little, but it ignited a wave of applause. Excitement bubbled. One by one, other townsfolk stood to express their own stories, tying them to the call for compassion. With every shared sentiment, their interconnectedness grew, and Charlie felt it like a bright light igniting the dark corners of Maplewood. However, beneath the jubilation was uncertainty lingering still. A question overshadowed the moment: what would it truly take to maintain this spirit of kindness? Would the change last beyond this meeting? As the applause faded, Charlie stepped forward, buoyed by the crowd's energy. Let us make a plan together. He shouted, energy pulsing through him. Let us bring color and life back to our playground. The crowd cheered, and for a moment, all doubts faded. But amidst the joy, Mr. Thompson's mind raced, haunted by unfinished chapters from his past. He looked at Charlie with a strange understanding. This boy wasn't just changing playgrounds, he was standing at the door to his transformation. What would it take for Mr. Thompson to lay his past to rest and fully embrace this new chapter? With the community abuzz, the real journey was about to begin. Mr. Thompson could feel the energy pulsing through the room like electricity. The crowd was alive, each person fueled by the idea that they could create something beautiful together. For the first time in a long while, he sensed a spark of hope igniting not just in him, but in the hearts of the townsfolk around him. Charlie stood at the forefront, beaming with pride. His enthusiasm was infectious. We can have a bake sale. A car wash. Everyone can pitch in. He shouted, his hands flourished as if he were conducting a symphony. The crowd erupted in laughter, nodding in agreement, caught up in his spirit. Charlie was just a boy, yet here he was, leading a movement. In that moment, something within Mr. Thompson began to thaw. He recalled his own childhood, the simple joys of climbing trees, laughing with friends, and the warm glow of community celebration. How far removed from that had he become? In his pursuit of wealth, he had forgotten what truly mattered. Why don't we meet tomorrow? Mr. Thompson proposed, his own voice gaining momentum as he spoke. Let us gather right here and form a committee. Let us brainstorm on what we can do. His heart raced again, but it was no longer driven by fear or sorrow, it was filled with anticipation for what could blossom in their shared future. A collective buzz of excitement rippled through the crowd at the thought of tomorrow. Sarah stepped forward, her eyes bright with determination. I can coordinate the meetings, she volunteered, glancing at Charlie, who clapped his hands in delight. Me too. I'll help plan the events. He chimed in. The townsfolk began to mingle, sharing ideas, exchanging contact information, and forming connections. Laughter began to echo through the hall, weaving invisible threads of community back together. Mr. Thompson watched this tapestry come to life, feeling more alive himself. Each smile, each spark of creativity feels like a moment of redemption, but then, as the excitement swelled, a shadow briefly flickered over Mr. Thompson's face. What if the people didn't trust him? After all, he had been a stranger to them. Would they really rally behind him when push came to shove? As if sensing his doubts, Charlie approached him, eyes wide. "Mr. Thompson, you're our hero. You started this." The sincerity in the boy's gaze struck Mr. Thompson harder than any blow. Here was this young boy, believing in him. "I'll try to be the hero you need, Charlie," he replied, a knot tightening in his throat. "But I can't do it alone. I need all of you." The next day came in a flurry of colors and sounds as the community gathered once more. Ideas flowed freely as inspiration filled every corner of the room. Plans for a family picnic, a community garden, even a talent show emerged, each suggestion welcomed with applause, but amid the excitement, not everyone embraced the change willingly. In the back of the room, a small faction murmured to one another, casting disapproving glances. Their skepticism felt like a hidden storm, waiting to break. Thompson caught sight of the murmurs and felt that familiar tension returning. Would they voice their concerns? Would their doubts threaten this fragile bond that was forming? His heart sank at the thought of it. "Charlie," he said quietly, leaning down. "There are still some people who don't believe in us. How do we win them over?" Charlie thought for a moment, a serious expression crossing his face. "We just have to show them that we care," he declared, conviction ringing in his voice. "Let us invite them to be part of this. Show them what teamwork can create." Mr. Thompson nodded, inspired. The boy carried the kind of wisdom only pure-hearted hope could provide. As they moved forward, the atmosphere was filled with possibilities. But their unity was fragile, threatened by voices cloaked in doubt. Would they find a way to transcend this divide? The real test of their resolve was yet to come. The following day dawned bright and clear, the sun shining down on the town square like a spotlight on a grand stage. Mr. Thompson arrived early, his heart racing as he set up folding chairs in neat rows. The air was thick with anticipation. Today was a crucial step forward, and he hoped the skeptics would see the vision of a united community. As people began to trickle in, the energy felt different. Conversations buzzed like bees, laughter cut through the morning chill, and there was a palpable sense of excitement. Yet, in the far corner of the room, a small group still huddled together with frowns etched on their faces. Mr. Thompson noticed them and a wave of unease washed over him. "Hey! There's Mrs. Langley!" Charlie exclaimed, breaking his train of thought. He darted toward an elderly woman, instantly hugging her. Mr. Thompson watched, amused, as other kids joined in the spirit, surrounding the woman with joy and chatter. "Let us start with the bake sale," Sarah called, standing up boldly. "We can have it the first weekend of next month." "Good idea," someone shouted. "We can put up flyers." The room erupted into a flurry of ideas and voices. Mr. Thompson could hardly keep up. But amidst the laughter and planning, he felt his own doubts creeping in again, lingering like dark clouds above a sunny day. Would those hesitant voices turn louder? Would the energy of today dissipate before they had a chance to make a real difference? Then he caught sight of Charlie. The boy was now standing on a chair, his small frame silhouetted against the window, arms wide open. "We're gonna build this community together," he proclaimed, his eyes shining like stars. "Let us show everyone what we can do. Let us prove that we're friends." The crowd cheered, spurred on by the boy's infectious spirit. It sank into Mr. Thompson's heart, soothing the tension coiled inside him. In that moment, he knew they had to reach out to the skeptics, but how? Taking a deep breath, he stepped forward, gathering his thoughts. "Everyone," he called, his voice ringing clear above the din, "we need to show that we're all in this together. Let us not forget about those who are unsure. We should invite them to our first event. Let them experience this for themselves. The room paused. A murmur of agreement swept through the crowd, but the skeptical group remained quiet, their eyes narrowed. They won't change their minds, one voice piped up. What's the point? Mr. Thompson's heart raced. The point, he said firmly, meeting the gaze of the naysayer, is that kindness can change hearts, and our door is wide open. As murmurs turned into nods of agreement, a flicker of acceptance spread through the room. Not everyone was on board, but there was a glimmer of hope. Let us form a welcoming committee. Charlie suggested eagerly. We can knock on doors, invite everyone to come share their ideas. One by one, hands shot up, eager volunteers ready to engage with the skeptics, to bridge that gap of mistrust. Mr. Thompson felt a sense of pride swell within him. Perhaps they could truly weave this community together, thread by thread. As plans solidified and excitement mounted, Mr. Thompson felt the heat from the gathered crowd steady his nerves. But just as they reached a crescendo of anticipation, the door creaked open, and in walked a figure familiar and stern. It was Mayor Strickland, her expression dark and unreadable. The buzz of the room dimmed, and all eyes shifted toward her. Rumors of her disapproval had circulated, and now it seemed the moment was ripe for confrontation. Mr. Thompson, she began, voice steady. I need to discuss your little initiative. The tension in the room thickened. Mr. Thompson could feel every heartbeat, every glance exchanged among the crowd. Had he truly drawn the ire of the town? What could unfold from the mayor's words? Would this be the moment that crumbled the fragile trust they had begun to build? Mr. Thompson's heart sank as the mayor's gaze swept over the room, lingering on the faces of the hopeful community members. The air felt heavy, stifled by uncertainty. He opened his mouth to speak, but the words stuck in his throat. Mr. Thompson, Mayor Strickland continued, her voice cutting through the tension, I'm concerned about your plan. The town doesn't need more divisiveness. We have enough problems without adding unnecessary events. You could stir things up more than you realize. The crowd shifted uncomfortably, disappointment weaving through their ranks. Hushed whispers flitted like butterflies, each one laced with doubt. Mr. Thompson felt his spine stiffen. This wasn't just about him. This was about the hope, the unity they'd begun to cultivate. We're not trying to stir up anything, Mayor, he finally said, his voice steady. We just want to bring people together. Everyone deserves a place at the table. Charlie, still perched atop his chair, looked wide-eyed back at the mayor. Please, Ms. Strickland. We want everyone to be friends. It's gonna be fun. A small wave of laughter rippled through the crowd, but it quickly dissipated under the mayor's unsmiling face. All the excitement that had filled the room moments before shattered like glass. Fun is not what we need right now. We need solutions, she responded, crossing her arms. And I assure you, inviting those who are skeptical won't work. They want nothing but to see you fail. A chill ran through Mr. Thompson. Was she right? His heart ached at the thought. But then he glanced around the room, at the eager faces that had rallied around Charlie's enthusiasm. Defiance bubbled within him. But what if we prove them wrong? He said, his voice rising. What if this community becomes stronger than anyone expected? You're playing with fire, she warned. I have to consider the town's stability. We can't change people's hearts overnight. But we can try. A voice chimed from the back, a young woman who was part of the supportive group. If we don't try, we're already lost. More nods echoed throughout the crowd, emboldened by their shared hope. A little ember of warmth sparked in Mr. Thompson's chest. They weren't backing down. Not now, the mayor's eyes flickered, her stern exterior showing the slightest crack. This isn't just about bake sales and events, Mr. Thompson pressed. It's about creating a community that listens, a community that connects. If we don't take that chance, how will anyone ever change? The silence weighed heavy, and Mr. Thompson could see the glimmer of hesitation in her eyes. Maybe, just maybe, he had touched a nerve. "Think about it," she said softly, almost to herself. "But you'll have to keep the peace." Mr. Thompson felt the room breathe again, a sigh of relief mingling with rising hope. "We can do this together," he offered gently, extending a hand toward the mayor, as if inviting her to join their vision. "Let us work for a common goal." Mayor Strickland studied him for a moment, her expression softening. "I'll consider your proposal." The crowd erupted in cheers, surprise and joyful camaraderie mingling amid their collective sighs. But just as the energy began to soar, the weight of what still lay ahead loomed ominously. "Remember, Mr. Thompson," the mayor warned, her voice resolute. "Change doesn't come easy, and we must tread carefully. I'll be watching closely." And with that, she turned and walked out, leaving the room swinging between jubilation and apprehension. What would the next days hold for that fragile bond? Could their community rise to meet the challenges ahead? Or would those lingering doubts take root and set them back? The questioning buzz remained, uncertain but electric. A path lay before them, and they were ready to forge ahead. Would they be brave enough to face what awaited? As the doors swung closed behind Mayor Strickland, the energy in the room shifted. Elation danced alongside fear. Mr. Thompson stood at the front, surrounded by people whose faces reflected determination. He felt surged with hope but also the weight of expectation. The cheers began to fade, replaced by murmurs, eyes darting about as others processed what had just transpired. "Mr. Thompson," Charlie's voice broke through the chatter, his youthful enthusiasm still bright as he hopped off his chair and rushed up to him. "Are we really going to do it? Can we bring everyone together?" Mr. Thompson knelt down, meeting the boy's eager gaze. "Yes, Charlie, we can. But it's going to take all of us working together." The little boy nodded vigorously, his face lighting up like it was Christmas morning. "Just like in the stories. We'll show them how fun it can be." With a smile, Mr. Thompson glanced at the others, encouraged by the little boy's innocent optimism. But a shadow crept into his thoughts. What if we can't, he wondered, wrestling with the flicker of doubt that undercut their collective spirit. Clara, a local baker and an enthusiastic member of the crowd, approached him holding a plate of freshly baked cookies. "You know, Michael," I've been thinking. She hesitated, uncertainty washing over her features. "What if we start with something small? Maybe a town picnic? Just to get people talking? It doesn't have to be a big event." Mr. Thompson considered her idea, scratching his chin. A picnic could be a neutral zone, a place to lay down arms and enjoy each other's company, even for just a moment. "That's a great start, Clara. Let us plan something simple first, maybe a weekend get-together at the park." Excitement rippled through the crowd again, supportive whispers sparking energy that flickered back to life. The more they brainstormed, the more ideas flowed. Face painting for the kids. Games for the families. A potluck. Everyone can bring a dish. Each suggestion built a framework of possibility that began to lift Mr. Thompson's spirit. Yet, as they detailed their plans, Mr. Thompson couldn't shake the image of the mayor's stern gaze. She was right about one thing: the challenges ahead loomed large. Could they really keep the peace when not everyone shared their vision? The doubt settled again, heavier this time. "Remember what the mayor said," Mr. Thompson reminded them, a frown creasing his brow. "This one be easy. We need to stay focused on our goal." A young man, Tom, who had been silent till now, raised his hand tentatively, concern etched on his face. "What if we face pushback? What if those who don't want to unite show up to disrupt things? What do we do then?" A quiet fell over the group again, uncertainty hovering like a cloud. Mr. Thompson felt the tension, the challenge looming larger. "We stay calm and remind ourselves why we're doing this, because we believe in this community." As the night wore on, their plans took shape, laughter and conversation intermingling, but shadows of doubt still lurked beneath the initial glee. Would their efforts to reach out be met with acceptance, or would they invite division? By the time they began to leave, the air held a fragile mixture of hope and wariness. They had a plan, a small spark igniting a greater vision, but the questions hovered: was the community truly ready, and would they unite like everyone wished? As Mr. Thompson stepped outside into the cool night air, he observed the stars twinkling above, reminding him of just how expansive hope could be. Yet, he couldn't help but feel an unease settle in his stomach. How would they navigate the turbulence of doubt ahead? Would their precious dream ignite or fizzle out before it could even start? The path was uncertain, but one thing seemed clear: they had to be ready for whatever came next. Would they stand together, or would the divide they feared grow wider? The days slipped by as the park picnic approached. Mr. Thompson could feel the weight of anticipation in the air, stirring excitement mixed with a tinge of anxiety. He visited the park each evening, visualizing how the day would unfold. Tables draped in checkered cloths, laughter echoing among the trees, children's faces painted like their favorite superheroes, and neighbors gathering to break bread. As he drove home from the last planning meeting, he couldn't shake the growing knot in his stomach. Each time he closed his eyes, he imagined a different scene: shouting, confrontation, or even worse, apathy wearing down their efforts. Doubts whispered in his ear, uninvited intruders to his determined resolve. Clara had dedicated her time to organizing games and snacks, but even her enthusiasm dimmed when the topic of potential opposition arose. Mr. Thompson remembered her worried face, biting her lip as she spoke about the risks. No one wanted to face hostility. On the morning of the picnic, a crisp and clear sky stretched above, promising fair weather. He spotted an array of balloons tied to the gates, fluttering in the slight breeze like joyful flags announcing the day's purpose. People began to arrive early, carrying baskets full of colorful dishes, their chatter unfurling softly like a warm blanket over the park. "Look, Mr. Thompson. It's going to be amazing," Charlie exclaimed, eyes shining bright as he tugged on Mr. Thompson's pants. The boy darted off to help Clara with setting up, his energy infectious. As the sun climbed higher, people began to mingle. Families clustered near the games, laughter spilling out as children cheered each other on. It was a sight that warmed Mr. Thompson's heart, but as he scanned the crowd, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The picnic unfolded beautifully at first, and Mr. Thompson's confidence swelled. But just as the pie-eating contest began, a group strolled in that made his heart sink. It was a mix of familiar faces, all the ones who had rallied against change in the past. Anger flickered in their eyes, and he felt a familiar tightness grip his chest. Tom stood nearby, observing the group's entrance. His brow furrowed, and Mr. Thompson rushed to reassure him. "Let us focus on the good today," he urged, forcing a smile, unwilling to let their energy be sapped just like that. As the lunch hour approached, a sharp, loud shout pierced through the laughter, causing everyone to freeze. "You don't belong here. This community is breaking apart because of people like you." The shouter was Ted, a well-known local with a reputation for stirring up conflict. A tense silence blanketed the park. Mr. Thompson's heart raced. All those smiling faces suddenly seemed overshadowed by the possibility of division. But then, Charlie stepped forward, his small frame unyielding against the tide of uncertainty washing over the crowd. "We're trying to have fun." Charlie's voice rang clear. "Come and join us." Everyone's invited. Mr. Thompson felt a swell of hope. How could a boy's innocence challenge adult turmoil? But would it be enough? The murmurings among the crowd intensified. Some folks nodded at Charlie's plea, others shifted, unsure how to react. Mr. Thompson took a deep breath and stepped forward, deciding that hope might just drown out the discord. "Everyone deserves a seat at the table," he called out, voice steady. "We're here to enjoy each other together." But in that moment, under the packed blue sky tinged with uncertainty, would they all feel the same? Would the call for unity overpower the call for division? As uncertain glances shifted across the crowd, Mr. Thompson prepared himself for an outcome he couldn't predict. Would their community truly come together? Or would the echoes of conflict drown out their laughter before it even began? The moment hung in the air, charged with tension. Faces turned from one side to the other, some mirroring uncertainty while others dared to share reluctant glances of understanding. Mr. Thompson's heart raced as he held the crowd's attention, feeling the weight of his words and their power to either heal or sever. Then, breaking the stillness, Clara stepped forward, heightened by Charlie's courage. "This picnic, it's about coming together, about being neighbors, friends," she called out, her voice rising above the whispers. "Please, let us not turn away from each other today." Her fervor was palpable, a beacon of compassion cutting through the thick air. Encouraged by Clara's bravery, several neighbors began murmuring in agreement, many of them nodding, the warmth of community rekindling. Among the group of dissenters, Ted's face darkened, his stance rigid. "You can't just ignore the truth. This isn't about fun, it's about the values we stand for." His words sliced through the hesitant smiles, desperation etched in his tone. "But what if?" Charlie interjected, his youthful wisdom surprising even himself. "What if the truth is different? What if coming together makes us stronger? People from all sides can enjoy this, right?" His small voice echoed around the park, dawning a quiet reflection. A couple of kids had made their way to Charlie's side, standing tall with him, their faces lit with determination. Mr. Thompson seized the moment. "We might not agree on everything. But right now, look at the joy around us. Look at these children." He gestured toward a group of kids giggling as they raced around in a circle, playing tag. "Their laughter doesn't see division. Their happiness is something we can all share." Suddenly, an elderly woman from the back called out, "My family has been here for decades, and we've had our differences, but we cannot let that stop us." Her words seemed to resonate with some, and a ripple of acceptance washed through the crowd. Yet, Ted's anger refused to be quelled. "You think this is how you fix it? Just ignore the issues and throw a party?" Disappointment twisted his features, but seeing others respond to Clara's and Mr. Thompson's pleas, he hesitated. Tom took a step towards him. "Ted, look, we're saying we want to listen. To learn. Isn't that worth something?" His sincerity hung between them, increasing the weight of the moment. Laughter broke out somewhere further along. A couple of kids had spilled lemonade across the picnic blanket, giggling as they wiped sticky fingers on their shirts. The sight pulled at the crowd's heartstrings, softening the barriers. Slowly, faces around began to ease. Mr. Thompson could feel hearts begin to open. "Come on, everyone." Clara motioned back to the tables. "Let us enjoy this day we've worked so hard for. Games, food, laughter. That's what matters." Mr. Thompson smiled at Clara, pride blooming within him. Together, they had dared to challenge the hostility. Just then, Charlie shouted, "Who wants to join the pie-eating contest?" His enthusiasm ignited the spirits of the onlookers, drawing even more people closer. As laughter resumed and a semblance of normalcy returned, Mr. Thompson took a deep breath, his spirit lifted. Perhaps today would not end in chaos after all. Together, they might still find the path through division. But as Ted's expression darkened further, he wondered if it could last. What would happen if the harmony fell apart again? The picnic carried on, a fragile thread weaved among the gathering. Moments of laughter brushed against the backdrop of doubt. Yet a storm loomed on the horizon, and Mr. Thompson sensed it. Would they find hope in the face of adversity, or would divisions deepen among them all once more? As the afternoon sun hung low, casting a warm glow over the park, laughter began to melt the tension. Mr. Thompson watched as Clara led a group of children towards the pie-eating contest table, her infectious energy pulling even the most reluctant neighbors along into the festivity. Charlie, with his wide-eyed enthusiasm, was already cheering the contestants on, a pie in hand smeared all over his face after his own heroic attempt at eating. "Come on, let us see who can eat it the fastest. He shouted, his voice light and free, cutting through the lingering unease. The sight of Charlie and his friends jostling for position made people smile. Even Ted, arms crossed tightly as he stood a few feet away, couldn't entirely suppress a reluctant grin at the innocent chaos. "You see, Ted?" Tom said softly, stepping closer. "This is how communities thrive. Not by hiding from each other, but by laughing together, even when things are tough." But the small spark of joy was still precarious. Just as some of the tension lifted, a group arrived at the edge of the park, their loud voices disrupting the laughter. Familiar faces, those from the other side of town, were marching in, dragging along their frustration with them. Each step they took pulled Ted's intense expression tighter, igniting the flicker of discontent once more. Clara noticed the newcomers first. "Oh no," she mumbled, her smile faltering as the group rolled closer. One of them, a tall man with a known reputation for stirring debate, raised a hand to quiet his followers. "We heard about your little gathering," he yelled, eyes scanning the park. "What kind of sense does it make to throw a party when problems lie in wait?" The laughter began to fade, the bubble of joy that had gathered over the picnic started to pop. Mr. Thompson's heart sank as he sensed fear ripple through the crowd like a cold wind. Were they going to face confrontation again, turning back to the divisive words they'd been trying to shed? "Even today doesn't spare you from facing the hard truths," the man continued, his contempt shaking the earlier warmth. "You're ignoring what really matters, our values." Charlie and the other kids stood in frozen silence, puzzled by this shift. Instead of joining in on their joyous activities, the adult world was re-entering their lives with rigid opinions. "Just stop," Clara called out, her voice cracking with emotion. "We're trying to heal here. Can't everyone see that?" The park fell eerily silent. Clara's plea lingered in the air, an imploring echo of hope. Mr. Thompson felt a lump in his throat as admiration welled up for Clara's brave cry. But at the same time, fear clawed at his insides. How could they move forward if this was how they greeted their neighbors? For a moment, it seemed the crowd held its breath. Then, the oldest woman from the community pushed through the throng. "We've seen arguments drown out joy for too long," she declared, her voice steady. "It's okay to hold differing views. It's okay to disagree. But can't we at least share a moment of kindness? Just for today?" Her words bridged the chasm opened by the new arrivals. A few in the crowd began to nod, softly grumbling in affirmation, uncertain but eager to reach out. The man from the other side looked around, his face softened but still taut. "But what about? Let us show our kids that love can overshadow hate." Clara interrupted, with fire in her heart. All eyes turned back to her, a sigh of hope began to unfurl amongst them, yet, like a shadow creeping back under the door, Ted's expression never fully cracked from its tight grip. Mr. Thompson could feel the weight continue to press on their shoulders. Could one moment of shared kindness really eclipse discord and despair? As they all awaited his answer, he felt the air grow thick with anticipation, a choice looming in front of them all. Would they turn away once more, or come together for real this time? The moment for a breakthrough hung heavy. It could all change with just one more open heart. In that charged moment, Mr. Thompson sensed the weight of transformation hanging in the balance. He cleared his throat deeply, taking a step forward as courage coursed through him. "Everyone, this is our chance, right here, right now," he said, his voice steady despite the storm of emotions swirling inside. "We've seen too much division. We can't let fear dictate our happiness any longer." The skeptical group hesitated, and Mr. Thompson pressed on, pouring his heart into each word. "We're not here to ignore our problems. We're here to acknowledge them and make space for everyone. Today is about inclusion. About discovering that we can stand together despite our differences." He glanced at Charlie, who stood rooted in optimism, and the sight fueled his resolve. "Let us take a moment and remember why we started this. To foster kindness, laughter, and connection. Today is about giving our children the joy of growing up in a world where compassion reigns, he declared, arms outstretched like a welcoming embrace. Tension rippled through the crowd, but slowly, the faces hardened with skepticism began to soften. Clara stepped forward and added, "Let us show our kids the power of forgiveness. A day without fighting, just love. Imagine how much brighter the world can be." Charlie jumped in, excitement sparkling in his eyes. "Exactly. Today we're all friends. Don't you want to join us? Let us build something great together." His enthusiasm spilled over, breaking through the barriers brick by brick. Gradually, a murmur of contemplation echoed through the villagers, as more voices joined in. "Yeah. We all want change, don't we?" Someone shouted from the back. Eyes shifted, some dancing with the lingering shadows of doubt, but others began to shine with the first glimmers of hope. Ted stood rigid, but even he couldn't resist the spirit unfolding before him. "I just don't want this town to change for the worse." Charlie grasped the opportunity. "Then help us make it better. We can show that different doesn't mean bad. Different is just more fun." He flashed a bright smile, and for a moment, the tension cracked open. Mr. Thompson felt a surge of warmth. "Yes. Let us plan this together. We can start building a picnic with no owners, just neighbors reuniting. Let us move forward and embrace our rich diversity. We can do it." Finally, Ted's hard exterior flickered with vulnerability as he glanced around at his neighbors. "I want to help, I just don't know how. I'm scared." "Me too," Tom confessed, stepping beside him. "But we can figure this out together." With a deep inhalation, the air seemed to clear. Laughter began to swell again as more neighbors stretched their arms open, inviting the doubters in. "We're in this as a team," Clara added, "so let us work as one." Charlie and Mr. Thompson smiled, seeing their vision of community come alive. With a spark igniting passion, the gathering turned into a genuine celebration of who they were and what they could achieve together. Throughout the evening, laughter danced lightly over heartfelt connections, as old grievances faded into the background. As dusk settled softly over the park, families shared stories and laughter that echoed among the trees, weaving bonds that would last far beyond that day. Charlie ran in circles with his new friends, their giggles intertwining the promise of a brighter future. In the face of change, Mr. Thompson stood back, watching with tears of joy glistening in his eyes, radiating warmth from his heart. "Look what we did," he whispered to Clara, "a community reborn." "More than reborn," she said, her constant smile illuminating the darkness. "We've grown." As they all began to pack up, Ted approached Mr. Thompson, hesitance shadowing his face. "I'm still on the fence about everything. That's okay," Mr. Thompson encouraged gently. "We'll take every step together. Change doesn't happen overnight, but we can take it one moment at a time. We just have to be willing." The nod from Ted carried weight. Perhaps there was a new chapter for Maplewood on the horizon, one where kindness ruled, bringing people together. Creating stronger bonds than before, with every shared smile, every moment of understanding, they leaned into the promise crafted in that beautiful park, that they could shape something special, a future born from unity. The journey ahead wouldn't always be easy. But as they all walked away that evening, hearts alight, they knew they were ready to face it together. And in that spirit, hope glimmered brighter than ever, united, resilient, and above all, kind. This is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss our next exclusive story. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep the inspiration flowing. I want to hear from you. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this powerful ending. And please, don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us spread the kindness together.